Good day everyone, I'm Jaya Maybe Calaraga, and today we're going to discuss about the approaches to marking and grading. So we're going to discuss five of them. The first is the letter grade, percentage correct, rubric or checklist, standard based, and written description. So what is approaches to marking and grading? This refers to the different methods teachers use to evaluate and communicate students' academic performance. These approaches determine how students' work is assessed, how achievement is summarized, and how feedback is provided to guide learning and improvement. So this is the approaches that the teacher uses to grade students' performance. So the first one is the letter grades. This includes letter A, B, C, D. These are the common and traditional method of reporting students' performance. They provide a convenient and concise summary of achievements, often linked with adjectives such as excellent, good, average, poor, and unsatisfactory. For you to better understand this, here's a table. The table shows the specific adjective that represents each letter. The A represents excellence, B is for good, C is for average, poor is for D, and unsatisfactory for E. So in this approach, it summarizes students' overall performance using a simple symbol. These are easy to use for teachers. However, they do not explain why a student receives such grade because this approach is very broad. According to Miller 2008, it's typically a combination of students' achievements, effort, work habits, and good behavior. So you can't really tell in which among of these contributes to the grades of your students. For example, the students earned a letter A grade. You can't really tell because it does not specify what and where the students did well or the students struggle with. These students may have good behavior and good work habits and great effort, but somehow maybe he or she lacks in her content mastery or academic performance, or it can be either way. So can't really tell kung saan siya nagkulang or ano ba yung specific things na nakakontribute sa kanyang grades. Example here is scenario, grade 7 Araling Panipula teacher Mrs. Santos gives a quarterly letter grade for students during a school reporting activity. The student Mark has an equivalent grade of B, which is equivalent to good. The issue here is because Mark received only a B, and Mrs. Santos and Mark's parents cannot see which specific area he excelled in or struggled with. Mark may have shown excellence, classroom behavior, and participated well, but may have difficulty in mastering the AP competence such as analyzing primary sources or explaining historical cause and effect. Or it could be opposite. Mark may have a high mastery of content, but his effort and submissions of outputs may have been inconsistent. Since the grade is only B, there is no clear explanation of that. Maybe hindi mo masasabing saang part siya nag-struggle or saang part siya nag-perform na hindi better because of just insufficient information kasi letter grade lang yung binigay. Because letter grades is the combination of academic and non-academic performance. It can be the behavior, so it's not easy to clarify it to the teachers or give grades to the students. Teachers cannot easily use it for targeted remediation and cannot identify the specific skill that needs to be improved.
Letter grades, there are also schools using this kind of approach into grading, such as one of this is the Ateneo. It uses letters how uses letters to show how well a student did in a course. Dito nakalagay yung each letter, nag-represent siya ng level ng performance.
The advantages of this approach is it is useful for summarizing overall performance quickly because you just need to input letter for the performance of your students, including na yun yung overall na behavior or performance niya. Then, the disadvantage of this is specific meaning of letter, grades, varies from class to class and from school to school according to Cobisin 2013. Different schools may have different meanings of the letter grades, such as A. It can be equivalent to 90, 95 to 100, then the B could be 90 to 95 and such. Next is failed to clearly indicate the student's actual level of mastery according to Cobisin 2013. Letter grade cannot tell exactly what the students know or cannot do. Next is they do not indicate the student's specific strength and weakness in learning according to Miller 2008. Somehow, it's the same idea to Cobisin. Letter grades combine multiple factors, including the knowledge, effort, and behavior, into just one symbol. So it cannot identify the weakness that needs to be improved and the strength that needs to be recognized by the teacher. So here's the one thing you can do when you use this approach. You just make sure and make it clear for your students about what each letter of the grade really means, so that their interpretations is accurate and appropriate and helpful as well. Does getting an A mean does getting an A mean that the students did outstanding work, or does it mean he or she performs well in the class? Does it mean that the teacher thinks the students work hard on her work or in her performance? Just like that. So you must be specific when discussing the grades in your students or the levels of your students. So next is the percentage correct according to Macmillan 2018, and it is also known as numerical grades according to Cobisin 2013. These methods reports the percentage of correct answers or points earned of a student in a total possible score. Example, 85 out of 100. It is common for objective tests and easy to calculate according to Macmillan 2018. It's often combined with letter grades. It represents a numerical summary of achievements. So the table below explains that numerical grades can be combined with letter. For example, 80 to 90, it represents here the 90 to 100, the B represents to 80 to 89, C represents to 70 to 79, and such. In this approach, the percentage of the numerical grade shows the percentage of items a student answered correctly. This is most common for quizzes and exam. It is easy to compute and compare, but it only measures how many items were correct, not how well the students master the learning competencies. Example here is Mrs. Santos, a grade 10 social studies teacher in a public high school, administered a 50-item quiz, multiple choice quiz on the topic Cause of World War II. After the students took the quiz, she calculated the percentage of correct answer for each student. For example, John scored 42 out of 50, which is 84%, and Maria scored 48 over 50, which is 96%. While the percentage and numerical grade provides a snapshot of performance, it does not necessarily reflect true mastery of content. For instance, yung kay John, 84% may have naging 84%, but he might have guessed some answers correctly kasi multiple choice yun eh, and misunderstand key concept, yet he receives B. Maria, despite scoring 96, may have memorized facts without fully understanding the cause and consequences of World War II. So this scenario shows that the percentage or numerical grades are useful for measuring correctness, but also limitations is assessing deep understanding of competency. So dito may possibility kasi na even though the students get a high score out of a specific item, it does not fully, we cannot conclude that namamaster niya talaga yung isang content.
So, there are schools na nagagamit ng ganito, and example nito is yung dito sa Philippines, ginagamit natin. Usually makikita sa mga high school and mga senior high school. Especially sa yung K-12 level. Here are some examples na nakalagay dito. May mga descriptions, yung grading scales, as yung remark if passed or failed. Ito nakalagay yung quarter. We usually experience this kind of grading system, so very familiar tayo about sa ganitong grading approach or grading system. So the advantages of this is that it is widely understood. Students, parents, and teacher easily interpret numerical grades. Yung difference ng 75 or ng 85, yung 92, 98, yung difference niya, because the higher number or grade that you get, it means na magaling ka or na-master mo yung competencies, in which nagiging misconception yun siya here sa letter grade na approach.
So the advantages and disadvantages. Advantages of this is it is widely understood according to QBC 2018. Students and parents and teachers easily interpret numerical grades. For example, 95 out of 100. It shows a higher achievement than 75 out of 100. So, mostly everyone na iintindihan nila kung saan ba dun yung mataas na kuha. So, yun yung sinasabi ni QBC na is widely understood. Next is convenient for summarizing test result. Teachers can easily calculate average or rank students based on their scores. Next is the disadvantages. It's still only general indicator of performance communicated according to Akmulan 2018. A number does not show specific strength or weakness in learning. Example, a student scoring 80 out of 100 may have excelled in half of the question but completely missed the essential skill tested in the other half. The teachers and students or the parents may think that the students may fully understand the topic, but in fact, the important concepts were not understood. Next, the tendency to equate percentage of items correct with percentage mastered. According to Macmillan 2019, just like what I have said earlier or a while ago, it is probably incorrect to include that when a student obtain 100% out of the test scores or 90 out of 100, it doesn't mean that she clearly knows the learning targets or the content.